As we mentioned last week, in this whole series on Reconstruction, we're not trying to give you definitive answers to difficult questions. That wouldn't be honest. They're complicated. Rather, we want to give you a space and a way of having an authentic conversation about difficult questions. Ultimately, we think that's going to be more helpful. And that's never more true than this question. There is no question in all of religion more complicated than this one. Why would a good God allow bad things to happen to good people? Everybody has an answer to that. Honestly, none of them are very compelling when you're in the midst of suffering. But there's some wisdom around the edges of this question. Like Helen Keller said, although the world is full of suffering, it's also full of overcoming of it. What an incredible perspective. Or this from C.S. Lewis, hardship often prepares ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Haven't you found that true? That the most difficult things you've been through in life are the most helpful for developing you into the person that you want to be. Now, although this question is asked by Hindus and Muslims and Christians, you know what I find the least compelling argument? In fact, it's not just least compelling, it is downright discouraging, depressing. Atheists. What is an atheistic view of suffering? Well, you come from a glob of nothing, you really mean nothing, and when you die, you will go into nothing. What a horrible answer. So even though I'm not sure anyone has a great answer, I don't want that answer. So I'm at least open to the option that from the Bible, we will see some perspective on suffering that's more helpful than there is no God and there is no meaning in life. And the oldest book of all the Bible, I think, has the clearest answer to this question of suffering in the world. It's the book of Job. His name in Hebrew sounds like this, Yob, and it means to be hostile to or to be treated as an enemy. That's Job. He felt like he was being treated as an enemy of God. Now, we know the end of the story, and so we know that he's not. And it may seem maybe inappropriate to you or difficult that God and Satan get into this argument and Job gets caught in the crossfire. I get that. But let me tell you what I think is so brilliant about the answer of Job, and it is brilliant. And I want to be sensitive if you're in suffering. And in fact, especially if you are in suffering, whether that's cancer or a child that's addicted or a spouse that is disinterested or a dead-end job, whatever your suffering is, I want to be sensitive to that by giving you what I think is a super helpful observation about this question from the oldest book in the Bible. When we ask, why is there suffering? What if I were able to answer your question? Would that help you in suffering? If you knew why you had cancer, would that help you through the cancer? Probably not. If you knew why your marriage was difficult or why you're in the red or why you have this pain in your heart of loneliness, if I could tell you why, would the why answer comfort you? No. What Job does is switches the why to who. Who can help you in suffering? And the book of Job is very clear about that. We may not know why we suffer, but we do know who can heal and who can engage and who can help us in the end of our suffering. We don't have an answer to the why question, but if you answer the who question, you will get through your suffering more quickly. And that's what we hope and pray for you. That is worth talking about.